Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2005 cult classic film 40-Year-Old Virgin. This is written by Steve Carell and Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow directed this film. This is long. The theatrical version is long. It's like 2 hours long. The unrated version, I don't know. I haven't actually seen it. But Seth Rogen's in this. Paul Rudd's in this. Steve Carell plays the main character of Andy. Catherine Keener's in this. Kat Dennings is in this. Jane Lynch is in this. Did I say Seth Rogen? We were watching this because it's a Seth Rogen film. Many other people are in this, but I realized after watching Knocked Up, I was like, wait a minute, that was 07, but there was films before that. So 04 we had Anchorman. 2004 was also Accepted. 05 was 40-Year-Old Virgin. When was Dodgeball? Was that 2004, 2003, something like that? Those films really started that comedic revolution, especially with all those actors and actresses doing all of that stuff over and over and over again. And I realized that Judd Apatow writing and directing 40-Year-Old Virgin is what started that whole Seth Rogen renaissance of comedy films, mid-2000s, which is called the aughts, mid-aughts, late aughts, into the 2010s, and so on and so forth. So I will give credit where credit is due, that's for sure. I really like this film. Certain jokes don't withhold the test of time, that's for sure. The transvestite jokes don't hold up at all. Those were awkward as hell. But the whole, you know how I know you're gay jokes between Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd, they still withheld. I'm not gonna lie, I as a gay guy find them hysterical. So certain jokes work, certain jokes don't work. What I really find interesting is that when this came out in 05 and the trailers dropped in 04, like, you know, you're laughing because it's a guy and he's 40 years old and he's still a virgin, and, you know, it's funny. But watching it now, knowing that there's certain terms in regards to sexuality that we speak about now cohesively and coherently versus then, which weren't really talked about, the character of Andy is a heteroromantic asexual who literally says at the end, after he flies through that double billboard in the middle of traffic, you know, I thought there was something wrong with me because I was holding out for so long because it never happened, but I realized I was waiting for you. And that's more on the heteronormative, romantic side of asexuality, or homoromantic asexuality. So that means, like, in regards to Andy's case, he's still attracted to females, but he's like doesn't have that sexual desire to be with females. And that is cemented because of that little speech he has at the end, which I think is really cool, because back then it was just like, haha, he's 40 years old, he's a virgin, he hasn't slept with a girl yet. But like now, being the mature adults we are, and we have these terms and understandings of sexuality, human sexuality can be fluid. It's not black and white, there's gray. So much like gender, it's not black and white, it's gray. There's a difference between gender and sexuality. So to talk about that now as opposed to then, it's important and interesting that we can logically have a conversation. Where's my monocle and my, you know, cup of espresso? I think it's cool that we can actually talk about that now. And that's what makes this movie really great, because it withstands that test of time on most aspects, not all aspects. But yeah, it's really cool that we can talk about this sexuality of this character that was written as a joke back then, but that speech at the end is very important. That's what I really, really like about this film, that speech at the end, that Andy is not someone to be made fun of. He's just his own person. And, you know, he collects his action figures, and he sold them all, and he made about $500,000 off of them, which is awesome. But there's nothing wrong with him. He was just waiting for that right person to come along, and it happened to take 40 years. So, you know, take of it what you will. Not everyone is as sexually active as you might be, or your friend might be, or your sibling might be, whoever might be, right? Everyone blossoms at their own pace, or everyone doesn't have to blossom. That's the point of this movie, which is funny because back then that was not the point of that movie. The point of this movie is that be comfortable with yourself. And that's what's cool about it. So, yeah, 2005. What a year for starting this Seth Rogen renaissance of comedy films. That's again why we're jumping back from 07. I think 06 had You, Me, and Dupree, which is a Seth Rogen film. I don't own it. I think I've seen it once, and I don't know where to see it. I'm only watching the Seth films that I own particularly, but we'll see. Let's see what's on the next list. I have a list in my notes. But 40-Year-Old Virgin, great film. Makes me, as a toy collector, I have many of things out of box, in box. I know the value of things, and like that stuff that he had in '05 filming for that, it was expensive then, and it's astronomical now. So kudos to keeping the toys in the box. Keep your toys in the box, kids. Don't play with them. Invest in toys. Mucho mahalo.